everyone, let's start off with the third chapter, Fiber to Fabric. In this chapter, we are going to learn about different varieties of clothes and where do they come from, how are they made and all these things, okay? So first let's start off with a small story. Now there's two friends called Paheli and Bahujo. It's actually Bujo. I actually feel Bahujo is a cuter name, so let's call him Bahujo. Paheli and Bahujo have won a science quiz competition and they've got some gift. It's a prize money, okay? So they decide to buy some clothes for their parents. So they go to the shop. They take this money and they go to the shop. The shopkeeper suddenly gives them a lot of varieties of clothes. He says there is cotton clothes, he says there is silk clothes, he says there is synthetic clothes and there is different variety of clothes. He's also got woolen mufflers and sweaters and all those things. So they are finally buy a woolen muffler and a cotton sari. But while coming back home, they also find that every cloth is made up of some variety, that is cotton, maybe silk or maybe synthetic. And in the shop only they would have touched and felt those clothes. Each clothes would have felt different. Like for example, if you take this cotton cloth, it feels very soft and it's very different from synthetic clothes. And silk saris, you might have seen reshme sari uttaralla mummy. So aa tara iro saris ella bere tara feel agutte when you touch them. So they just felt them and touched them, and then they found out that every cloth is made up of some variety of material like cloth or jute or cotton or silk or some other variety. So there's a small activity for all of you. First, go and take a cloth. Okay, a small piece of cloth, like in tailoring shops, they would have cut bits and pieces of cloths, right? Take one of them, or in the house only you might have some cloth which is already torn or some small cloth. Take them. For example, I'm taking this cloth, and in the end of this cloth, there are threads. When you start pulling them out, there's a thread coming out, right? Like these. These are called yarns. So the fabric, that is the cloth which is already made, is called fabric. The fabric is made up of yarns. So where does these yarns come from? To find out where these yarns come from, you have a small activity. Take those yarns or the thread which has come out from the cloth and put them on a table. Press them on one side with the thumb and just start rubbing the other end or the whole piece of thread with your nail like this. You can find small threads coming out, thinner ones. Yarn itself is very thin. The other threads which come out from the yarns are more thin, like these. See, it's just splitting into two, right? There are different small pieces of threads which these yarns are made of. These small thinner sections are called fibers. So what is the fabric? The finished piece of cloth, fabric, is made up of a yarn. What is this yarn made up of? Still thinner section of threads called fibers. Where does these fibers come from? There are few fibers which come from the plants and animals, such as wool, cotton, jute and silk. All these come from plants and animals. Cotton and jute comes from the plant, and wool and silk comes from the animals. Wool comes from the sheep, you all might have known, and silk comes from the cocoon of the silkworm. Okay, and for a lot of years, many years, only these natural kind of fibers were used to make the fabric. And before hundreds of years, maybe, we also use synthetic or chemical materials to make the fabric. Those are called synthetic fibers, and one such example is nylon. Okay, now let's study about some of the plant fibers. First, we'll study about cotton. Everybody knows cotton, right? It's used in a lot of places and it's very easily available to us also. Belt hachtaralla, hatti hakbittu hachtaralla, so there also we use cotton. Cotton can also be used in filling the pillows and mattresses. Take a pillow and check inside, you will get cotton. Okay, so cotton can be used in various methods or in various ways. Where does this cotton come from? Cottons come from the plants. Okay, these plants are grown in black soil and warm climate. And the fruit of the cotton plant is about a lemon size. Okay, after they mature, these cotton balls burst open. They burst open and the seed covered with the cotton or the cotton fibers are seen. They are picked up by the hand. This method is called ginning. Okay, this ginning was done for a few years back, but now we even have machines to separate the cotton and cotton fibers from the cotton plant or the cotton balls. So the second fiber which is obtained from the plant that we are going to study is jute. Okay, jute is also from the plant, and these plants are grown during rainy season. Okay, and in India they are mainly grown in West Bengal, Bihar and Assam. Okay, they are harvested during the flowering time of the plant. They are taken from the stem. This jute comes from the stem of the plant. So harvested stem is soaked in the water for 2-3 days, and then the fibers are separated by hand. Okay, the fibers are made into yarns. There are many processes or methods to convert yarn into fabric, that is yarn into the finished piece of cloth. These on the cloth end ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಥ್ರೆಡ್ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯಾನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೈಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಈ ಯಾನ್ ಇಂದ ಈ ಫುಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾತ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ methods and processes. Okay, the two important processes are weaving and knitting. The process of conversion of fibers into yarns is called spinning. ಈ ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿರೋ ಫೈಬರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಥಿನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಡ್ಸ್, ಅದನ್ನ ಸೇರಿಸಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ yarn ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, the process of converting these fibers into yarns is called spinning. Okay, this spinning can be done even using our hands. In the spinning, what happens is they take a fiber and we twist them in a manner. Like if you think these two are two different fibers, they get twisted and then you get a single strand, that is a yarn. Okay, so this can be done by hand spun machines also. Those are Takli and Charka. Two machines are available. Charka is very famous because it was used by Mahatma Gandhi ji during the independence movement. He advised people to wear hand spun yarn called khadi. Okay, so the Indian government, they constituted a body called Khadi and Village Industries Commission in 1956. Nowadays these yarns are made using spinning machines. These fibers are converted into yarns using spinning machines. First, let's talk about weaving. Arranging two sets of yarns to make a fabric is called weaving. That is, for example, take two sheets of paper. Okay, this is an activity like these. Take two sets like these, cut them into strands. One paper na ee tara strands al cut ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Okay, can you see it? And the other one into bits like this. Now you arrange these two sets in order to make a pattern. So ಈ ತರಾನೇ yarns ನ ಕೂಡ ಎರಡು ಸೆಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನ weave ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ fabric ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So we are weaving this now. Just imagine, okay? How do you weave it? Take one in, one out. One in and one out. You will get a pattern like this. Okay, one will be in, one will be out. Okay, it will be like this. There's a pattern created. So this is an activity to understand about weaving. Now let's talk about knitting. Okay, how was knitting done? Have you all seen how they knit the sweaters? Just with one set of rope, right? Or one set of yarn. Using just one set of yarn, one single strand or one set of yarn to knit a whole fabric is called knitting. For example, take your socks, okay, and pull out just one thread or one strand and keep pulling it. The whole fabric gets distorted. ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಸಾಕ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದರಿಂದ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ದಾರನ ಎಳಿತಾ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಹೋಲ್ ಸಾಕ್ಸ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಒಂದು ಥ್ರೆಡ್ ಇಂದ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ yarn to make a whole fabric is called knitting. So in ancient days and all, do you think our ancestors were wearing clothes which were stitched like our jeans, tops and kurtas? No. They were just using plants and animal furs or skin to cover their body however they wanted. But once they started settling in a single place, they understood that they can weave or they can create a fabric or a pattern just using these plants and animal materials. So this was just a one piece of cloth which they used in different patterns to cover their body with. For example, even today we have saris, dhotis and turbans, which is just one piece of cloth which we have a pattern to just cover our body. After the invention of the stitching needle, they understood that we can stitch clothes and different varieties of clothes in comfort of the humans to cover our body with. So they started stitching. In today's world, we have varieties of fabric. So with this, we come to the end of the chapter. Thank you.